My favorite day of the week is not Friday, it's not even Saturday, it's payday. There's not many better feelings than seeing your paycheck hit your account and then your balance just triples. Like, I've been waiting for you all week. Where have you been? So I love payday, and I'm sure you love payday, but it's important to have a plan for every single paycheck that you get. And you need to be able to tell your money exactly how to work for you. If you don't have a plan for your paycheck, what can happen is you get your paycheck, the money just disappears, and then you're wondering, what happened to my money? Where did it all go? And then you're trying to hold things together until you get your next paycheck, and then that money goes as well. And then you're caught up in a vicious cycle. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 5 places that your paycheck should go every single month. I'm going to list these out in the priority in which they should be allocated. And if you put your money in these 5 places, you should feel financially savvy. You should feel like you have peace of mind because you are prioritizing your financial goals. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Sabrina Rainique, and on this channel, we live a life that we love while planning for the life that we want, all through personal finance, travel, and lifestyle. So if you like videos like this, hit that like button and subscribe and hit the bell notification as well. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into it. So the first place that your paycheck should go is, you guessed it, yourself. So before you pay any bill, before you do anything else with your paycheck, you're going to want to make sure that you put some of that money aside to pay yourself. Now, when you are paying yourself, you're going to want to put your money in 3 different places. So the first place you want to put your money is an emergency savings fund. Everyone needs an emergency savings fund just because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we do know that there is going to be at least an emergency in our lives that we're going to have to spend money on. And when that emergency arises, it can be you need to fix a part of your car, or maybe you unexpectedly stop working. The last thing that you want to do is rely on expensive credit cards. Credit cards are not an emergency savings fund. Most people aim to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in their emergency savings fund, but of course, this can really vary based off of someone's unique circumstances. If 3 to 6 months sounds like quite a bit of money, $1,000 is a great emergency savings fund to start with. So my number 1 tip for building your emergency savings fund quickly is to make sure that you have automatic transfers from your checking account straight into your high yield savings account. If you're not familiar with the high yield savings account, it's a bank account that's online, and they can offer you a much higher interest rate and return on your savings than a traditional brick and mortar bank. So this means that when your money is in a high yield savings account, it can be accumulating, let's say, for example, 2% interest, as opposed to when your savings is sitting in a traditional bank, your savings is probably accumulating 0.001% interest. There's really no reason to not have a high yield savings account because it's free, it's easy to open, and your money is not losing value by sitting in a traditional bank. All right, so the next place that your money should go is into your 401k account. So your 401k is a tax advantage retirement account that you can get through your employer. So your 401k is an investment vehicle, and it will allow you to invest via that 401k account, but you also are able to reduce the amount of taxes that you are going to pay on your investment. Another great thing about the 401k is that many times your company will offer a match for any contribution that you input into your 401k. So for example, if every month you invest $200 into your 401k, your company will also match that $200, so you'll have $400. So it's basically free money. We love free money. When it comes to how much should you take out of your paycheck and allocate towards your 401k, I suggest just contributing up to your company match. The third place that you want to put your money so that you are continuing to pay yourself is your Roth IRA. So I have a video about Roth IRAs coming next week. So if you aren't familiar with these, definitely make sure to check that video out. So your Roth IRA is another tax advantage retirement account, so similar to your 401k, except you don't have to get this from your employer. Pretty much anyone can open a Roth IRA and they can still get the tax benefits of using this account for their investment. You can actually open your own Roth IRA through brokerage companies like Vanguard or Fidelity. I personally use Fidelity and it's great. So let's talk a bit more about what exactly a Roth IRA is. So like your 401k, it is an investment account that you can use to invest in either mutual funds, bonds, stocks. And the really cool thing is, since you are using post-tax money, meaning money you have already paid taxes on, i.e. your paycheck, when you invest that money into your Roth IRA, and when you make investment gains on that initial investment, and you withdraw that money within retirement, so at the age of 59 and a half, you don't have to pay any taxes. Now, this is a really big deal because when you use a regular brokerage account in order to make your investments, you're getting taxed twice. However, when you use a tax advantage retirement account, you're only being taxed once. So for a regular brokerage account that you would open in order to facilitate your investments, you're using post-tax money, meaning you already paid income tax on that money. And then when you make any capital gains and you withdraw your money, you're paying taxes again. So the reason that it's so important to really focus on investing via your tax advantage retirement accounts is because you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars by avoiding certain taxes. So let's talk about how much you should be contributing from your paycheck. So I would say if you can, and I know this might be a lot for some people, but you can try to invest $500 every month into your Roth IRA. The reason that I say $500 is because $6,000 is the max contribution that you can make into your Roth IRA. So $6,000 divided by 12 is $500 per month. Now, if you cannot invest $500 into your Roth IRA every month, that's no problem, that's okay. I would suggest that you just invest whatever you feel comfortable investing. And then from there, you can just increase that number over time. And another thing that you should do in order to grow your Roth IRA is to make sure that you have automated payments from your paycheck and your checkings account into your Roth IRA. So that way it'll be way less painful to see $500 leaving your account every month. All right, so now we have paid ourselves, we've paid our future selves, we've given ourselves 3 different places to make money, to grow money. So we should be feeling excited, we should be, relishing in the self-care. And now we can talk about the next things that we should be doing with our paycheck. So now we want to pay our bills and our necessities. I suggest listing your bills and your necessities from most important to least important. So things like rent, things like groceries, things like credit cards should be closer to the top. From then, I would just pay them accordingly to their importance. That way, if you just don't have it that month, at least you paid the most important things. The bills that are lower on that list should be things that you can negotiate when they need to be paid, or they won't have a big impact if they aren't paid. Now, I just want to be clear that I'm not classifying wants in this section. That's going to come a little lower on our list. So things like subscriptions, things like eating out, entertainment, we haven't gotten to those yet. All right, so we've paid ourselves, we've paid our bills and our necessities, and now we have room for our short-term savings. So your short-term savings are going to be different than your emergency savings because this is going to be a designated savings of money that we intend to spend on something. Whereas our emergency savings fund, we don't touch that at all unless there's a true emergency that we hadn't expected. So if you are saving for a vacation, if you are saving for a new laptop, if you are saving for a house, that's going to be considered your short-term savings. I also highly suggest that you keep this money in a separate location than your checking account because we all know how that goes. You kind of keep the money together with your bill paying money, with your spending money, and it disappears. All right, now we have paid ourselves, we've paid our bills, we have paid our short-term savings, and now we get to what everyone has been waiting for. We get to our wants. So usually after paying myself, paying my bills, paying my short-term savings, then I have a portion of money left over. So with this money, you can pretty much spend it guilt-free. You have taken care of all of your priorities, and now it's time for you to have a little fun. So you can feel secure that all of your priorities have been taken care of, and now you can use this money to spend it in any way you'd like. I really like this way of budgeting my paychecks because it doesn't feel as rigid. Like when you have a spreadsheet and it says you can only spend $50 on entertainment this month, or only $100 on eating out, or only $20 on Uber. I like to keep a sense of spontaneity in my life. I like to feel like I can kind of ball out a little bit, even though I can't. It just makes it feel a bit more like I have a lot of wiggle room, and it kind of makes me feel like even though I'm on a budget, it doesn't feel like a budget. All right, lastly, we have our bonus. So let's say you have some money left over at the end of the month. I highly suggest that you reinvest it. So you can open up a brokerage account, or you can reinvest it back into your 401k. Either way, make that money work for you. So for myself, I opened up a brokerage account, and it's been really interesting to be able to use my extra money to grow that account. So I highly suggest doing that if you don't have one already. All right, so let's do a quick recap on what we should do with our paycheck every single month. So first, we want to pay ourselves, and we're going to put our money in 3 different places so that we can grow that money for ourselves. So first, it's going to be our emergency savings fund, which should be 3 to 6 months worth of expenses and no less than $1,000. Secondly, we want to invest in our 401k, and we should be investing up until our company contribution. Third, we want to invest in our Roth Ira, and we want to invest $500 a month if we can, but if we cannot, we're going to invest whatever we feel comfortable investing in. Secondly, we are going to pay our bills and our necessities. I want you to rank them from most important to least important, and then make sure that you pay them accordingly. Third, we are going to be investing in our short-term savings. So this is going to be a vacation, a new computer, a car part, a house, whatever your short-term savings may be. Make sure to keep your short-term savings in a different account than your checking and your bill-paying account. Fourth, we are going to be spending on our wants. And like I said before, go crazy, sis. And then fifth, if you have any extra money left over, invest it and make your money work for you. Now remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So always make sure that every time you get a paycheck, you have a plan for it, and that you're making sure that your money is working for you and that your future self is taken care of. So my challenge for you all this week is to incorporate one thing into your budget that you weren't doing before. Let me know in the comments what you decide to incorporate, and I'll see you all next week.